Hey,
That was
hey.
nice.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Ishah Oasis, the place where women come to escape the deserts of life. Guess what, guys? It is International Women's Day. And which other place? What other place would you be but at Isha Oasis? Come on, this is a place for ladies to straighten each other's crown and to get cushioned. So cushioned and crowned. We have already speaking grace. We have Jocelyn Cumberbatch from Barbados. We have Kim Dixon, and they are just excited, I can tell. Those who are joining, please go ahead and say where you're joining from. We're excited to have you today. Happy Women's Day, guys. I am excited about the discussion we'll be having today. We'll be talking about something that a lot of persons are not aware of being important as women. But we have the expert in the house, Dr. Hope Reid. She is a chiropractic physician, and it's my absolute honor to be here with her. We're getting the greetings. And Justin Cumberbatch says, my crown is on, waiting for the queen. So come on, guys, let's put on our crowns. Let's fix those crowns because this is the place for queens. And today we're celebrating womanhood. We're celebrating the awesomeness, the royalty. God made us special. So Sherelle Budan is here. Welcome. Kim Dixon, as I said before, I want to know who are the persons that are here. Please go ahead and say where, let me hear from you where you're joining from. So I'm sure you're curious, some of you, to know who is this lovely lady. I know that you can't wait to hear what she's about. The caption says spinal hygiene and the 5 components of women's health. And these are critical topics that she'll be touching on. So she is Dr. Hope Reid, chiropractic, chiropractic, chiropractic physician, years in practice. Come on now. This woman knows what she's talking about. She's an expert. She has experience. She is the co-owner, and I'm excited about this, guys. President and CEO of Hope Chiropractic, where she practices with her hubby. Look at that. Come on, Liz. How many? Somebody said tongue twister. It sure. I didn't know I'll be rolling. I'll be fumbling over that word so much. Person behind the blog and YouTube channel Defining Hopes with Hope Reid. Course creator and instructor of the online course From Stressed to Sound Mind. Wow, we want to hear all about this evening. She is the mother of 2 beautiful children and wife to an amazing husband. All right, so we have this all-rounder, this amazing woman. I've been admiring her. I follow her channel, Hope Reid. She goes by her name on YouTube. And trust me, guys, when you follow this lady, you will not regret it. Special welcome to my friends joining on Facebook. This evening, I am just relaxing. As you can see, I changed the whole scene for this episode because, listen, I am so concerned about my back, my spine, and I want to hear what the expert is saying. Teacher S. Higgins is in the house, and we have Melissa Dunkley. She says, good night all. Happy International Women's Day to all the amazing women in here. We're greeting each other. We're a family here. So let's find a name for all those who come to Isha Oasis. We will talk about that. I'm sure you can't wait to hear from the lady. Dr. Hope Reid, talk, let them hear that beautiful voice of yours.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much, Hilette, for hosting me tonight. So do you want me to just jump right on in or talk about chiropractic? And
Before you jump right in, I want to share something. So, because it's Women's Day, Dr. Reid, on here, Women's Day, all year round, we have our women, we remind them that they are queens.
Yes,
Well,
yeah.
we have queens in the house, and we have gentlemen who come here every week supporting the program. I
Mhm.
can't leave them out. Thank you guys for your love and your continuous support. And I just want to remind them of First Peter 2, verse 9. It says, but you are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, God's special possession, that you may declare the praises of him who called you out of darkness into into his wonderful light.
Mhm.
Welcome, Carmelita Seymour. Tell me where you're joining from. I know Carmelita is joining from Grand Cayman. We have persons here from the UK. Go ahead and tell me where you are joining from, please. So, yes, Dr. Reid, I know you're excited and you can't wait to get into it. You're curious. What is spinal hygiene? Tell them what it's about and why it's important.
Okay, I absolutely will. So, spinal hygiene, if you think about the things that you do on a daily basis, and I'll compare it to, say, for instance, oral hygiene. We brush our teeth, we floss, and we periodically go to our dentist to make sure that there's not a cavity or something like that. So, spinal hygiene is in reference to the spine. It is the things that we do on a daily basis to make sure that our spine is in alignment, like stretching, exercising, stopping, checking our posture, and just going for periodic checkups to make sure that we can catch anything that will potentially be harmful later. We catch it in an early stage. But I can't really talk about spinal hygiene without addressing what chiropractic is.
Yes,
So, chiropractic, it is a drugless, surgery-free profession. And it's based on the premise that, our body, the power or the power that made the body is what heals the body. And we know, as a believer, I know that power is God, right? He created us and he made us to be self-healing, self-regulating. Our brain and spinal cord controls every function of our bodies. And it is a sensitive area because it's the only area in our body that's completely encased in bone for protection, right? Our skull protects our brain, and our vertebra protects our spinal cord. And so the reason why chiropractors work with the spine is because the nerve system runs through it. And when you think about the nerve system, all of the nerves that branch out from your spinal cord, it controls, for your lungs to breathe, your heart to beat, and for your food to digest or for a cut to heal. That information has to come from your spine. And if you can imagine, if we're sitting at the computer for hours at a time, our posture is slumped over, we slip and fall, we're playing sports, accidents, whatever it is, it can cause our vertebra to misalign. And when that happens, it gets stuck. I like to use the analogy of a sliding glass door. When it's on its track, how does it move? Nice and freely. But if it's off its track, you can still move it, but it's going to give you a lot of problem. And if you keep forcing that sliding glass door, it's going to eventually wear down the track. The same thing that happens to our spine. When we're misaligned and that joint gets stuck, we can still, we can ignore it. We can keep going along and doing the things that we're doing. But after a while, it's going to start to wear down the disc. It's going to start to irritate those nerves. And guess what? We're going to be in a lot of pain. And I've seen it over the last 20 years. People come into our office because of spinal neglect. And people don't really think about spinal hygiene on a regular basis until there's a crisis. So that's why, it's important to maintain our spines.
right. And I see Blessing Yaguina TV. She says, it's my first time of hearing about spinal hygiene. And I said the same thing when we were having our initial conversation, when I said, we're going to have her in the house. And if you didn't know, I did my little research, and I found out that it's one of the most important parts of the body because it's what keeps us up. It holds us up.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just in awe. I remember the only time I had an issue. Well, I know my spine is important, but Dr. Hope, when I went to give birth to my daughter, and they offered, well, I requested that, what do you call it? That special injection that you get,
Epidural.
the epidural. And I had to sit there for 10 minutes. I said, do I really want these people to inject me in my spine? Because I know that a lot of people who have had spinal injury, that's it for them. They can't walk, they can't hold up their structure, their frame. And so when you said spinal hygiene, it gave me a lot of thoughts. And I went and I did my research and I said, wow, look at this. And I'm happy that Ishah Oasis is a place where you come to be educated. We have all these experts, beautiful women who are telling us about things that we definitely don't hear every day. So you just go and share with a friend, tell them to come on over because Dr. Hope will be telling us some very important things about our spine because as queens, we definitely need to sit upright so we can keep our chin up. We need to walk like a queen and we need to stand up like a queen. And I was getting excited, doctor, when I told you I found this quote. It says, behind every successful woman is a tribe of other successful women who have her back. And today, Dr. Hope literally has our back, guys.
I love that.
In order for us to be successful, we need to hear how to keep our back straight, right? So I'm so excited this evening. Thanks for those who are joining. Those I said inspirational Marie, she's here, and they're having a great time in the chat. The chat is on fire. I was trying to find this the moderator thing to give speaking grace, Stevie, because we spoke about it, but it didn't work this evening again. But I'm gonna fix it. So, Dr. Hope, go ahead and tell us. So you explained to us about the spinal discs and all of that. In my research, I found out about our spine degenerating over time. Tell us about that because, of course, some of us don't want to admit it. We're forever young, but the reality is we do get a little wear and tear. So let's talk about that.
Okay, that's a great area because as I mentioned before, when your spine misaligns, it gets stuck, right? And it can irritate the nerves. It puts pressure on the nerves in the area, causing muscle spasms and things like that. But the disc is such an important part of our spine because the disc is, it needs to be hydrated. And motion is what brings hydration to that disc. So if that joint is stuck, the first thing that's going to stop is hydration of the disc. Then the disc dries out in a term we call disc desiccation. It dries out. Then after a while, it becomes weakened because it's no longer hydrated. It's almost, and I don't know if I should make this analogy, when we're young and our skins are hydrated and the elastin is there and it's very supple. Sometimes if we're not properly hydrated as we age, that skin gets a little, it can't bounce back like it should. And so that's what happens when the disc dries out. It loses the shock absorbance ability and it starts to degenerate. And so when it degenerates, your body tries to stabilize that area by depositing calcium. And so you end up having things like what we call lipid and spur. If you look at the x-ray, you start to see all kinds of bone spur that forms around that area. And if I can, I'm going to reach and grab a little model. Hopefully you'll be able to see it. Sorry.
I'm so excited about this conversation that we're having. And this is just the first half, guys. Later on, we're going to learn about the 5 components of women's health. So we're first learning to straighten ourselves because Dr. Hope is going to share with us some exercises that we can do to keep ourselves upright and definitely maintaining our awesome frames that we can function as the royalty that we are. Welcome to those who are coming on. We have Domain Garden. The better your posture, the higher your crowns. Keep your crowns high, queens. And that's our gentleman in the house shouting us out and telling us that, listen, as ladies, it is attractive when you have this beautiful frame. It contributes to your confidence. Yeah. And I'm sure the men love it when, as women, we look regal, standing tall with that confidence. And Dr. Hope, she has our back, literally. So yes, guys, keep in tune. Go ahead, Doctor.
All right, so I'm going to give, hopefully you'll be able to see this. This is an example of a healthy vertebra. And you see how the discs are nice and big and they're hydrated. This is how they should be. when they're hydrated, you can easily bend and move, and it's, not a problem. As our disc begins to degenerate, it starts to look like this. So you notice that the disc has now gotten a lot smaller. Let me see if I can put both of these up here. The disc has gotten a lot smaller, and it doesn't move as well as it should. So this is an example of disc degeneration in our spine. We see it all the time. We take x-rays, and these are some of the things that occur when your spine isn't properly maintained over time, and we're not aware of the necessary things to do for proper spinal hygiene. And when you think about it, we only have one spine. We don't get a do-over. We can't, you see knee replacement, even heart replacement sometimes, but you cannot, there hasn't been anyone that has their spine replaced. It just isn't possible right now, right? So we only get one, and it's it's imperative, especially as women. And I want to touch on, us being women. Oftentimes, there's a quote that I remember seeing that says, "Health of a woman determines the health of a nation." So if we are healthy and we're doing the things to maintain our health, we're going to pass that down to our children. We're going to help our spouses, our community, and that health and education goes way out and impacts so many more generations than just ourselves. So it's very important that as women, we take care of ourselves so that we can, take care of others.
I love that point that you're making, because I've seen, and you're gonna help us here, but in high schools, when I was in high school, or when I was working in high schools, I saw, and I've had cases, or I've known of people personally, young people with scoliosis. And is it age limited?
In terms of how old you're a certain age to get scoliosis?
Right.
Absolutely not. Now, we've taken care of lots of people in the past with scoliosis, and oftentimes there's something called congenital or idiopathic, meaning that they don't know what caused it. And then there are certain things that trigger scoliosis. So some people are just born with vertebrae that are not fully formed, and as a result, as they grow, their spine shift. But a lot of times, and I see it over and over for years now, a slip and fall when you're young kids, they fall a lot, heavy backpacks, different things can cause a misalignment in their pelvis. And our bodies are always trying to stand upright, right? So for instance, if you see some people who are slouched over, their heads are forward, their body is doing whatever it can to stay aligned with gravity. So if you have a pelvis that's misaligned, your body, it's not going to bring your head to the side, it's going to bring your head forward. As a result, it's going to form a curve, a sideward curve. That's what a scoliosis is, just to make sure that your head is in the center of gravity. And scoliosis over time, if not corrected, can put pressure on your lungs. It can cause a lot of pain as well. So we've taken care of many people with scoliosis, young kids and also adults. The thing about kids with scoliosis, though, as you grow, sometimes it can get worse. So the medical model tends to just wait and see to see how bad it becomes when you stop growing. Then they try to fix it from there. But if it's not corrected, or you're more prone to degeneration. So yeah,
Okay.
that's a very good one.
Why I brought it up is because I heard, these young people, because they carry load. So I wanted to know, if as women, if we can contribute to us having scoliosis by practicing improper hygiene, sitting and doing other things that could contribute to that. That's what I was going to.
Okay, so typically, in terms of scoliosis, meaning that a sideward bend, And I wish I had brought my big spine so I could demonstrate. But a sideward bend of your spine, typically poor posture does not contribute to that. What poor posture contributes mostly to is a forward bend. So if you see people who are hunched over or they have that big soft pad on their backs and their necks are way in front of them, poor posture contributes to that in a huge way. Now, carrying heavy loads, if you
Right.
are a woman who, and I've done it, but I have to be conscious of the weight of my purse. You put everything, especially being a mom, sometimes you're walking around with your kids and you have water bottle, you have snacks, you have diapers, you have your laptop, you carry everything but the kitchen
Wow.
sink in your purse, right? And we're creatures of habit. So if I'm right-handed, I tend to put that on my right side. And what happens is that heavy load weighs you down and your body is constantly trying to compensate. Wearing a load on one side over time will definitely contribute to a misalignment and potentially scoliosis. So what we tell women, one, lighten your load, right? Leave all the heavy stuff in your car and come out with your wallet or just a little bag. And if you are a student, carrying a heavy backpack, you put it on both shoulders. Don't carry it on one side. And then if you have the propensity to carry on one side, switch side. Switch it up. Don't just keep it on one side because that can definitely contribute to a misalignment and the problems that comes with that.
All right. So there you just educated us. You told us what it's about. And I don't know if anybody has questions. Go ahead and put your questions there. So she told us what spinal hygiene is. She gave us some of the information about degeneration and what causes all of these our spine not to be where it's supposed to be. But what I'm excited about now, doctor, because in the next 7 minutes or so, we want to know how we can go about taking care of our spines. We want to hear the tips. We want to hear why we should do these things, how often. That's the part we definitely want to hear because we
Okay.
definitely want to look like the queens that we were made to be.
That's right. That's right. And I know that we're on YouTube and there are lots of, and I'll address YouTube first. There's a lot of content creators and, oftentimes that puts us in front of the computer for a lot of times, or even editing, our necks are bent or, we're doing whatever we're doing. And we get so like caught up in what we're doing that we will spend literally hours working on a project or you're a book publisher. I'm sure that you spend a lot of time doing those
Sitting
things,
on the computer.
yeah, in front of the computer, right? So it's important. One of the things that we can do is set timers, right? You want to take a break at least every 30 minutes. And by break, sometimes you're like, oh, I don't have time for break. I want to, continue to do what I'm doing. But you can take a break and just refresh your neck because that's one of the huge things. And I did a video how when our necks are in front of our body, for every inch forward, our head weighs an extra 10 pounds. So if you imagine, right, that your neck is like this and you're in front of the computer, your neck muscles, the nerves, everything is just so irritated because now it has to carry what's normally an 8 to 12 pound head feels like a 20 to 30 pound head. And that
Wow.
contributes to headache, a lot of neck pain, stress, and strain. So one of the things you can do is sit up, take a break, stop what you're doing, sit up. This is the easiest way to do a chin. We take our chin. I'm going to turn to the side. And we just put our chin back and forward. That can help to relieve some of the pressure in your neck. You can do some nice stretches. You want to do about maybe 2 to 4 pounds of pressure. So you don't want to pull down really hard because if you have like issues that you're unaware of, you don't want to potentially strain your neck. But just a nice 2 to 4 pounds of pressure. Hold for like 5 seconds on either side. And this one I love is to just take your shoulders, I don't know if you can see, but like a W and squeeze your shoulder blades back. and hold it there. Yeah, just like that. And now squeeze your shoulder blades backwards, backward. Open your elbow, open your
Oh,
elbow. Yeah,
okay. I
and your
feel it.
shoulder blade, and squeeze that back for about 5 seconds and then relax. So that will help to reset our posture, right? And
Ah,
it'll refresh you to be able to keep working, right? So you want to
and
be
it
able to,
does feel good. When I just,
yeah.
it does feel good after I've done it. I definitely
Mhm.
feel like something just went on there. And I hope my
Yeah.
ladies at home just go ahead. Let us just, keep
Just
it. Go ahead and do it. Yes, it feels good.
and squeeze. And what that does too, it opens up your chest. A lot of times it affects our breathing because when we're in front of the computer, our whole rib cage is
So she says that, and she does have a small head. She says sometimes it feels like a 50 pound when I'm in front of the computer for 8 hours. So now we
it's
know that sometimes we're having that headache. And where do we feel that headache, Doc? In the
a
back
lot
of
of it really depends. If it's more of a tension headache, you'll feel it at the front of your head. But if it's what we call cervicogenic, meaning that it's coming from your neck, a lot of times you feel it in the base of your skull, or it's just a diffuse headache. You just feel like your eyes are getting dark, or you're having a difficult time concentrating. These are some of the symptoms of forward head posture that can definitely put a lot of strain on your neck and shoulders, upper.
So Domain Garden, he said I spend most of my days hunched over looking at a computer screen. Learned the hard way to be conscious of my posture. He learned the hard way.
Mhm.
But for those of us, we're here today to learn because I am excited already to sit properly when I'm doing my thing because I spend a lot of hours too. And Melissa, she says that my younger son complains of constant headache and neck pain. He's on the devices for very lengthy periods due to online schooling. I'm so happy you mentioned this, Melissa,
Mhm.
and his love for games. At what age is spinal hygiene important? Thanks for that question because
Great
as
question.
women, we have so many functions, and one of our core
Mhm.
functions, most of us here I know are mothers, and of course our gentlemen are benefiting as well. This conversation we're having, it's for everybody. But yes,
Mhm.
thank you, Melissa, because Dr. Hope talked. Please answer that question that she asked because we
Sure.
definitely want to ensure that our children are being
Right.
taken care of as well.
Absolutely. That's a great question. Actually, at the beginning of the pandemic, my children were e-learning as well. And I put a video on my YouTube page on how to alleviate spinal discomfort for kids e-learning. So you can never be too young to start implementing spinal hygiene. So when your kids are in front of a computer, one of the main things you want to do is elevate that computer. Your device should be screen eye level to the screen. That's one of the first things you can do. What I also have my children do, instead of bending their heads to look at their devices, I have them bring the device up to their faces, right? Bring their device up to eye level. And if you're saying, well, I don't, their arms are going to get tired, or, they're not going to like to do that. I have my children lay on their stomach so that their body is supported, and they have either a stand or something in front of their head so that their head is up and not in a forward position. That's one of the biggest thing that we used to see back in the day. Adults used to come in with what we call forward head posture. Nowadays, we're having elementary school kids with headache and neck pain, and they're getting younger and younger because of all of the device. So our children, when they're using their devices, is up in front of their faces, or we get a stand or something to put to elevate that screen. So,
Wow.
and definitely taking breaks as well. That's one of the biggest thing. Take breaks, stretch, hydrate, and break up the screen time. There is a blue light glasses. I know I tell my kids all the time that I spent their whole lives telling them too much screen time is bad for you. and then the pandemic happens, and they're on the screen like all day. So, I got them these blue light glasses to help, reduce some of the screen uh, glare, so that it's filtering through blue light instead of that bright screen light. And so these are just some of the things that you can do, but definitely elevate that device, take breaks if need be. If your kids are young or if they're older, have them change posture, even put the device on a chair and have them sit on the floor. And so that they're not bending their head forward.
And these are important points. She is touching on a lot of great stuff because we do not want to come out of this pandemic looking like zombies, curls and our eyes. So definitely, she's not only giving us tips for our backs and our children's backs, but she's telling us protect the eyes as well. For those who are joining, welcome, welcome. We want to hear where you're connecting from. We have Dr. Hope Reid, chiropractic physician. I got it right this time. And she's here telling us about spinal hygiene. And before, if you joined and you thought this was not a relevant conversation, she just hit some nails on the head when she spoke about the posture of our children, and in this time of the pandemic using the devices. We want to thank Melissa for asking that very important question. And then we have Joycelyn Cumberbatch, my Barbadian queen. She says, apart from hydration, proper posture, appropriate exercise, what foods can we eat to keep the spine healthy or lubricated? All right.
So that's a great question. That actually goes into one of the the 5 components of health, because health is not just the absence of diseases. It is the having the proper mind, body, spirit, well-being overall. And one of the things in being healthy is our nutrition. Having nutrient dense foods are going to be super important. So one of the things we can do, or one of the things that we can eat, is eating to boost our immune system. So there's not like a specific, I wouldn't say eat things that have olive oil to lubricate your joints, but if you're eating those things that are have vitamin D, vitamin C, the anti-inflammatory properties of ginger, green leafy vegetables, eating healthy and reducing salt intake. Salt is a dehydrator, right? So the more salt you take in, your body will either sweat it out, will urinate it out, and it dehydrates your body. So eating foods low in sodium will help to keep your body hydrated. Obviously, hydrating, and it doesn't necessarily just mean water. You can drink teas and lemon water, or apple cider water, different things that can also hydrate the system. So eating a balanced diet, supplementing if you need to, and lowering your salt and sugar intake will definitely help your joints to be more lubricated and hydrate your body for those discs and your ligaments and things like that, your muscles as well.
Wow. And Speaking Grace says, we are learning a lot. And she was pointing out to me that the questions are coming in. I like the questions and I want to hear more of them. Dr. Hope Reid here, she was addressing spinal hygiene. She did that in the first half hour, and we have learned a lot. And she has segued, she did it because she's cool like that. She knows it was time to talk about the 5 components of health in women. And she touched it just in case we miss it. Dr. Hope, we want them to know that this is what we're going into, because persons might want to take notes. So what are the 5 components of women's health? Women, we're here because we're escaping the deserts of life. We want to have a renewed life. We want to live our best lives. And my sister Julian is not here tonight, but she always talks about temple care, because we know that our body is the temple of the Lord. He expects us to be intentional about everything that we do. So we're not just going about life and saying, oh, our body will take care of itself, or we're just anything that happen. we have different people coming here, and I'm happy to have our chiropractic physician because she's addressing some things that we need to know as women. We need to be more conscious. And of course,
Mhm.
education is always necessary because I didn't know about spinal hygiene before, but I'm sure that when I'm sitting around my laptop doing my editing and all the things that I do, I'm going to be more conscious now because guess what? I want to maintain a great posture. So
Mhm.
we spoke about that. If you are coming in late, you can always catch it on the replay. But now she is going into the 5 components of women's health. So take the notes, ask the questions, and continue being awesome.
All right. So, as we mentioned before, women, we take on so much, right? We're responsible for maintaining the health of our families. We work outside the home. We work inside the home. We're caregivers. We have children. And our bodies deal with a lot of hormonal changes, whether we're, premenstrual, we're pregnancy, we're menopause. We're constantly going through cycles of different changes, and our bodies are so unique. And so it's important to understand what the 5 components of health is because it will help us in our everyday life. We touched on one. Um, uh, Eating or the things that we eat. And I made this up. I don't know if I made it up at the beginning of the pandemic to educate people on the 5 components of health because there was so much fear and people were afraid of, being in the presence of others because of the pandemic. So I said, instead of uh, having fear, the only fear that we should know is fear not. And so this is a way for you to remember the 5 components of health. So the F is for food. We want to make sure that we're eating like I mentioned, nutrient dense food. We're hydrating, getting as much of the vitamins and minerals that we need from our foods. And if we're not getting it there, we want to supplement. Uh, E is for exercise, right? So one of the things that we want to make sure that we're doing as women is getting our bodies moving. I talk about that on my page as well.
But I did get my
So
walk in. I did get my walk in today.
and that's
Proud of my
good. And sometimes a walk is all you need just to get moving. Whether you're walking, cycling, swimming, running, strength training, just get moving. Exercising produces endorphins, which is a good feeling hormone in our body. It helps reduce stress. And so exercise is a huge component to building stronger bones, especially with weight bearing exercises, increasing our cardiovascular health, and just helping our overall well being. So, food, exercise, the FEA is attitude. Having a positive mental attitude is super, super, super important, right? Because I always say we can't control the thoughts that we have that come into our head, but we can control the thoughts that we decide to focus on. And the scripture reminds us to take every thought captive. So not everything we want to spend our time thinking about. So we want to make sure that we are focusing on those positive things. I will say this. There sometimes I remember with my kids, and I do it periodically now, but I have this exercise that I do with them called the peak and the pit. And when I pick them up from school, I tell them to let me know one peak, which is their highlight of the day, and one pit, which is their low point of the day. And I started to do that because a few years ago, every time I picked them up from school, how was your day? It was good. What was good about it? I don't know. And they could not find the positive. So by doing this exercise, it forced them to find a positive in their day. And, sometimes it was lunch or PE, but, eventually they began to find things that they were grateful for. The teacher called on them, they answered a question correctly. And so it takes time to develop positivity. I always say, prayer, spending time in scripture, uh,
right.
reading, listening to uplifting music. Those are some of the things that will help our mindset. And You want to say something? You go ahead.
Because I want to add too that for my positivity, I've found this awesome family. I have some YouTubers that I follow. Teacher S.
Mhm.
Higgins is one of them. Speaking Grace, Inspirational by Marie. These are ladies that help me to keep positive,
Mhm.
positive words that they. So I have the notification on because these ladies they make their posts every day. So
Yeah.
definitely, and Dr. Hope, I love your channel. I'm always there catching up on all these things that you share on your channel because it's not just about chiropractic stuff.
Mhm.
You promote positivity a lot. So on that note, I want to Speaking Grace put it there. She's saying go and check out Hope Reid's channel. Yes, when we're done here, please go over, check out her channel and follow her. Awesome woman. I fell in love with her when I was watching, and we're gonna have more of these awesome ladies. I call them my family. And so I want to just acknowledge those who are on Facebook. Happy Verasa says, Happy International Women's Day, beautiful ladies. And that's our YouTube sister as well. Antonio Dawson, he says, good night, everyone. Simsa Calvert, that's my graphic guy. He said, this is vital information for us men as well. So
Mhm.
happy that they're finding value. Shauna Miller says, Lord, help me get aligned. We are here to be aligned in every
Mhm.
way, physically, spiritually,
Mhm.
mentally, all the alleys. And Audrey Jackson, she says, love this. And she's watching along with Cheryl Armond. I see other people who I'm not able to identify. Please go ahead and say something in the chat on Facebook so that I can identify you. But yes, we're having Dr. Reid, and she is just giving us some vital information here. As usual, I always say I have to replay and get some of these things that I'm
Mhm.
it's a lot. So go ahead. I know that you're using the acronym FAIR, and
Mhm.
you said the F is for food, balanced
Right.
food. Picking myself to say that I'm, getting all of this. And you said exercise, and then
Mhm.
we're at positive attitude. So go
Right.
right ahead.
Right. So I was actually just about to wrap up the attitude. It's I want to share this one thing that I share with my kids and I share with people as well. A way to maintain positivity also is to surround yourself and like you brought up, the YouTube channels that you follow. Surround yourself with people who are positive. And when you think about weed, like not that type of weed, but weed like in the ground, right? That comes into your plant. Weeds don't need encouragement to grow. They will grow in your garden. They will grow anywhere. They will grow in the crack of a sidewalk, right? They don't need encouragement. But if you want a rose or a tulip or another plant, you have to nurture it. You have to water it. You have to make sure it gets the proper sunlight. So it's the same thing we have to do with our attitude. If we want to nurture our minds and we want to be positive and be healthy, we have to surround ourselves. We have to nurture our lifestyle, nurture the things that we take into our body, nurture the things that we read, and just really take that time to make sure that we are being healthy. So the next one after attitude is R. And can you guess what it is? Hillette,
Oh,
R. What is that?
mm,
You know what it is.
I know what it is. All right, I know you're gonna tell us.
I'll help you out. Rest, right?
Right. I should have
So,
done that, but I tell you what, because I'm monitoring both Facebook and YouTube at this
okay.
because I see persons joining. Trisha Brenique Chambers, I'm happy you're on. Merle Lamont, thanks for joining. Shana K. Henderson says vital information. So we're benefiting persons on both platforms. And Makita Brooks is watching and she got it. She said rest.
Yeah.
Makita, being so smart. I know that. Don't judge me right now. All right, go ahead.
So rest is vitally, vitally important. Oftentimes we go and we are doing so much, and I've done this a little bit during the pandemic where I get up early and I stay up late. Just to try to get things done. And we tend to do that as women. We want to take care of everything. So you're not reading.
That came in mind. That came to mind. I was like,
but resting and not just how many times do you go to bed and you toss and turn all night, you can't turn your mind off, and you wake up and you really don't feel refreshed. Rest is really important because it's not just resting, it's having a recuperative night's sleep. Rest helps your body to replenish itself. Resting help your body to heal. So it's important for us to take the time to unwind and get ready for our restful night's sleep, and then go ahead and take that time to rest. So that is four of the components.
Right.
Obviously, the fifth one is and I said fear not, and this is my way of saying nervous system optimally functioning.
Oh,
So so having a nerve system that is free of interference is going to be the fifth component, because oftentimes if you think about a dimmer, right? You've had, like, you go into the bathroom and you have a light that you can slowly brighten or slowly dim. It's kind of how your nerve system works. If your brain is trying to communicate to your heart or to your lungs, or you're having interference, like there's a misalignment that's putting pressure on that area. While it may not stop your heart from beating or stop your lungs from breathing, it's dimming the nerve impulse that's coming from your brain to that part of your body. So as I mentioned before, your nerves branch to every organ, tissue, and cells in your body. And if you have irritation or interference in those areas, your body is not going to get the message like it should, and as a result, you're not going to function 100% optimally. That is going to lead to increased stress on your system. It's going to lead to not just pain and discomfort, but it's going to lead to what we call dis-ease. You're no longer in ease in your body, it's
right.
dis-ease, and that leads to disease in your
Disease.
system.
I
So
love.
it's important to make sure that your nerve system is functioning and you're doing the things to help your nerve system. And chiropractic is one of those things that you can do.
Wow. Casita Small, she says, my first time and it's awesome. And so we know that we'll have her back every week. This is where we come to escape the deserts of life, guys. This is the Oasis
Mhm.
we come to refresh. And we're getting more than what we bargained for. Dr. Hope Reid, she's awesome. And we
Thank
have all the things. My worthy moderator, she says the five components. And here it is. She has it on the screen. She has summarized it for us. We're so grateful. Jackie Hayden, where are you joining from? She said, good information. And thought it was reading to inspiration. All right. I'm not the only one who I was just afraid to say it. Thank you. Speaking Grace, doing an awesome job for us on YouTube. And we have Rhonda Daniel. She said, rest is both emotional and physical. Detania McLaren, she'll be here very soon. She says, good night. And Merle Lamont says, it's giving our body time to rejuvenate. So we have persons,
Mhm.
both platforms, really enjoying this
Nice.
discussion. You're doing a great job, Doc.
Thank
I
you.
I made a great choice because I want to point out that we have a whole lineup for months, guys. We have some incredible ladies that will be coming on to discuss everything women. We'll be touching on hair, beauty, skincare, everything we'll be touching on this program. You can't afford to miss it. Isha Oasis is the place to be every Monday, 7:30 p.m. And we have some persons coming with their stories overcoming domestic violence, rape, all those kind of things. I just had to put in that little advertisement there, Dr. Reid. But this evening is all
No,
about
that's no problem.
you and be your awesome self. We are learning so much from you. And the nuts, thank you for putting this out. Nervous system optimally functioning. And this is critical. So go ahead. The mic is yours again.
Okay, so like I mentioned before, your nerve system, I said it, it controls everything. And if you think about the spine, we have three major part of the spine: your neck, which is called the cervical portion of your spine. Your mid back is your thoracic, and your low back is your lumbar. And if you have misalignments in the neck, it can lead to headaches, high blood pressure, um, uh, visual issues in the mid back, that uh, rib cage. If it's compressed, it can lead to breathing issues, and also the nerves that go to your diaphragm also can be irritated. It can lead to asthma or things like that if it's being irritated in your lower
Wow.
back. Yeah, and this is besides muscle pain. That is the most common side effect in your low back. If you have misalignments in your low back, because those nerves go to our uterus, our ovaries, our reproductive system. Oftentimes, I have patients who come into the office and, they're having low back pain, and I will share this. I had a specific patient who came for low back pain. What she did not disclose, and that's why we do a complete history. And sometimes doing a history is like pulling teeth, because you're asking, well, what caused this? Or do you have any of this? And they're like, no, no. And this particular patient, she had low back pain, and she did not tell me until the problem was corrected. Now, when I looked at her x-ray, I saw that she had huge misalignments in her neck, in her low back. And so we put her on a treatment plan and adjusted her. And she reported to me later on, at about a month into her care, saying that she was having irregular menstrual cycles. And
Mm.
she said that her cycle had been gone for like a couple of months, and then it would come. It was just very irregular. And she hadn't had one for several months. And the only thing different that she did was have her spine adjusted. We took the pressure off of those nerves, and those nerves that were going to her uterus, now that dimming switch was turned back up. And so her body was able to function better. And she said the first month she didn't say anything, because she was like, nah, this can't be. And then the next month, as she continued to come, she noticed she had her cycle on a regular basis. And that's when she decided to tell me that she's like, the only different thing that she has done was get her spine adjusted. So your body is so amazing, right? And it'll heal. And if it doesn't have the interference, uh, that's how God set us up. We will heal.
We will heal.
And
Wow.
I want to say Colette Hill is my sister. Glad
Welcome, welcome, Colette Hill. And Cassetta Small says oh, sorry, Jackie Hayden is joining from Cayman Islands. Happy to have you. I suspect who gave you the invite. Thanks for coming. And Colette Hill, big up sister. You have an amazing sister, and we're enjoying her wisdom. She's pouring out at the Oasis. We are filling up. We will leave this place refreshed this evening with great information. And remember, you can always go back to the replay to get all these great stuff. And you can always go check out Dr. Reid on her channel, Hope Reid. Follow her. Go and give her some love over there. We would like at least 10 persons to go and subscribe. At least, I said, everybody go like. She is just an amazing woman. Dr. Reid, I'm just tempted to ask you about the Jamaican in you, but we're gonna come there. We have first, it's somebody, and that was Cheryl Larmond on Facebook. She said, we need to hear from our gentlemen. Listen, I have some great plans for our men coming over to do some things. Don't worry about it. It's coming up. I know the Holy Spirit is working, because I was thinking about that today. So I am just following up with the chat. There's a lot to catch up on. Jackie Hayden is a guest that I invited to join. I know, Carmelita, thank you so much. So cervical, thoracic, and lumbar. Teacher S. Higgins, always, she's all about knowledge. She's ensuring that you're getting all the good stuff. Carmelita, thank you. Judith Spence says, awesome program. Great job, host. Oh, thank you so much. Thanks for coming. Yes, Dr. Reid is brilliant and gifted. My baby sis. Look at that. So yes, Doc, we are having a great time here. You have touched, I just want to know before I get, because we have 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So for those who came on late, you have to catch a replay. She spoke about spinal hygiene. And if it wasn't a concept or a term in your vocabulary, it must be there now, because as a queen, you have to have a certain frame. You have to have a certain posture. You want to maintain that. It gives you a confident look. And of course, it keeps your whole body in check because it's at the core. It's one of the most important body parts. And she gave us some little things. Apart from this one, doctor, if you have any more, we would like to have it. But I want you to just go ahead. Anything that you feel like you have not touched on, we want to hear it. We want you to leave your empty this evening because, of course, we can always have you back, but we want to get it all out this evening. That
Of
when we
course.
go out tomorrow doing our jobs, we get it all right.
All right. Well, one of the two areas that I see a lot of people having issues is with the head and the low back. There are other areas as well, but in terms of I wish I had a towel. In terms of decompression, decompressing your spine is a great way to alleviate headache and stress as well. If you get a towel, like a not a like a hand towel or face towel, and just roll it up and put it behind your neck and pull forward, you'll be able to open up your joints and your body will hydrate your discs. Also, if you are sitting for long periods of time, getting up, walking around will help to just reset your low back as well. Because a lot of times with gravity, it causes a lot of compression. So an important thing to do is to not sit for long periods of time. And if you have to, get like a little box and put your feet on top of it. So to elevate your knees a little bit and it'll take some of the pressure off of your low back. There are so many things that I could offer. I have a lot of them on my YouTube channel. I try
Yes.
to address. People ask me questions all the time, and some of the issues that we deal with in the office. I want to have a platform that, even if it's years from now, and you say, "Oh, I need a solution for this pain problem," you can go to the page and just put in a search and be able to. I want to be as transparent. I don't want to hide anything. Sometimes we keep things back because in our profession or in you want to make money, but it really isn't about making money. It's about giving what God has blessed me with in terms of knowledge and sharing it with as many people as possible, just to help them have a healthier lifestyle.
Wow, what a gifted lady. And God certainly made no mistake when He gave you that calling and that anointing because He knows that you wouldn't keep it like that person with the one talent. I know you're
Mhm.
an extremely talented person, and she shares your family as well. There was something that you had on your channel, I think, sometimes in December, talking about worship with your family and that acronym. What's that
Yeah,
again?
drip. Drip
Trip.
is our weekly devotion. We dance, we read, we interact, and we pray, and that's what we do every week.
Listen, guys, you need to incorporate drip in your homes. Drip, drip, drip. I was just blown by it, and there are a lot of things that I watch on your channel that I will never forget, but that one was definitely a standout. And I
Mhm.
know this evening I'm gonna leave with fear not. I'll definitely remember the five components because of that acronym. Very
Mhm.
creative, brilliant
Thank you.
woman we have here. And thanks, Kim, for inviting Casita Small. Casita, we want to see you next week. We're gonna have roll call. And guys, listen up. We're gonna get sponsorship in this program that I can give some gifts. Today I was like, what can I give? You never know. One of the times I might get my books. We have persons here with some amazing. I did a video earlier that I'm gonna share with Alicia. Alicia, she sent me some awesome shirts. We have Inspired for Purpose, very creative young lady. We have
Mhm.
so many persons here in this family. Jocelyn Cumberbatch, my Barbadian friend, she said, looking forward to the weeks ahead. I'm excited too. Inspired for Purposes. Love this very informative. Great job, Doc and host. Thank you. Domain Gordon says, glad I was here. And he's one of our gentlemen that will pop in. Not don't want to give you too much about that. You're gonna love this young man. Cassetta Small says, I am suffering with spinal injury, and right now from last night I'm in great pain in the lower back. So thanks, Doc, for the info. Doc, you have anything more you want to share with Cassita Small?
Well, obviously, I don't know the extent of her issue, but one of the things that I could offer is, and I did a video on icing and heating. a lot of times, if it's a new injury, people tend to use heat. It feels good, but it could potentially perpetuate the problem. If you haven't already, try icing the area 20 minutes on, 20 minutes off, and then 20 minutes on again. And usually ice constrict vessels. It helps with pain. And hopefully, like I said, I can't tell you what to do based on just knowing that you have pain. I need to get more information, but icing is a great way to start.
Awesome. Look at that. Right here on the spot. Our doctor is helping persons. June Robinson, thanks for keeping on. Vilma Hilbert, that's an awesome lady on Facebook. Thanks for joining. Want to see you next week as well. Laverne Beckford, my neighbor back in Jamaica, she is watching. And on that note, Doc, we're gone over our time, but I want you to tell my Jamaican followers, they like to know when we have Jamaicans featured. She resides in the States, guys, but she is Jamaican. So tell us about it.
Oh boy. My family will probably laugh at me because they call me the Yankee, but I migrated with my family when we were very, very, well, I was still a toddler. But I was raised in a Jamaican home. Both my parents, my sisters are great cooks. I didn't get the cooking blessing, but I bought a cookbook and I learned a lot of the Jamaican dishes for my husband because he's Jamaican as well. So I love the Jamaican culture. I talk patois with my family, and it's such a rich heritage, and I'm grateful for the like I said, the culture of my parents and having that upbringing, understanding, being Jamaican and proud. So
Jamaican and proud.
Yeah.
So you don't have any patois in you?
Well, that's why I said my family pick at me, because my patois isn't the greatest, but yeah man.
Oh my gosh, I had too much fun tonight. And listen, our ladies in the chat, you certainly, I was there trying to keep up with everything. And I said, wow, we have a great family here. And I can tell you guys that next week, we're going to have a UK person, one of our UK sisters. I don't know which one of them yet, because they are here every week. And I know that I want to hear, I mean, of course, they're on the lineup, but I just got the Holy Spirit just said to me, one of my UK ladies, they're going to be the guest for next week. And you don't want to miss it. Every week they're here helping with the moderating in the chat. I love them so much. They have awesome channels. And guys, tonight we're focusing on Dr. Hope's channel. You can always go and check out the other ladies in the chat. Definitely, we endorse that. But this evening, I want you all to go on YouTube, look for Hope Reid, and check out. Listen to me, your sister laughing at you. She said, big up yourself, Doc. It's been another incredible evening. I can't say enough thanks to you, Dr. Reid, for stopping. I am blown with the amount of information that you served at the table. You curried it up and put a little roast breadfruit beside it with some ackee and sawfish and some fried dumpling. It was a great meal, and I am certainly feeling more of a queen for it.
All right.
My guests, they are awesome. If I ever try to shout them out before I leave, I might get in trouble. But Colette Hill, thanks for joining your sister. Teacher S. Higgins, thanks. Inspirational Memory, I love you so much. And one of you ladies, just let me know. One of them will be featured next week. You're going to love. These women are awesome. We have Cassetta Small. We have Speaking Grace. Speaking Grace, I love this. I love her. I love Hannah so much. I don't know if it's Hannah or Adana that's behind it. Kim Dixon, thanks for the support. Thanks for bringing your friends. Domain Garden, big up yourself. Love you so much. Appreciate you. Joycelyn Cumberbatch, my Bayesian. I'm challenging you to take 10 guests next week. We have Judith Spence, appreciate you. I am trying to reach out to everybody. That's Carmelita Seymour, my Cayman Islands queen. Thanks for coming. Melissa Dunkley Smith, she was on Author's Nest yesterday. She did an incredible job. Go Undercover channel and catch up on that video. And we have Jackie Hayden. Welcome, sweetheart. Thanks for coming. I know people for grace was here earlier. We had Blessing Iaguina. We have so many ladies. I don't want to miss out anybody because I want you to feel the love. I appreciate you so, so much. People chosen by grace. So, in 30 seconds, I want you to give us your final words, Dr. Reid. The words that we would go to our bed thinking
Oh,
about. We
okay.
say goodbye.
Wow. Well, I would just say that, we are created so magnificently. Every fiber of our being, God knows who we are, and we are His temple, His dwelling place. And so it's important that in our lives we support each other, but more important, we take care of our temple so that we can help to not just spread the gospel, but impact people's lives in whatever ways we can. So it was a pleasure being here. I thank you, Hillette, so much for this time. And I love each and every one of you. And God bless you.
And I'll just say, what a beautiful thing it is to be able to say, I fell apart and survived. I want to leave that quote. And I want to leave this one, be a pineapple. Guys, my father has a huge pineapple farm in Jamaica. I miss it every day. But it says, be a pineapple, stand tall, wear a crown, and be sweet on the inside.
Mhm.
Stand tall, wear a crown, and be sweet on the inside. Thank you so much for joining. I enjoyed this evening's program so much. So many things coming up in the chat still. I just want to leave you in blessings and love. Pray for this program and see you next week where we will have somebody from UK. We'll let you know and we're going to have a great time. Love you all. Be blessed.